And welcome back to another post-game episode of Banditland Boulevard. Trevor Howard here. Tony LaMonica is right there. Another game, another loss for the Bandits. They go into the bye week this week, 3-3 on the season through the first third of the season. Yeah, we're already a third of the way through the year. 3-3 on the season, 8th in the overall standings, and coming off a fresh loss against the Ottawa Black Bears at home. So 10-9 was the final score at the KeyBank Center on Friday night. We are recording this on Monday. So we got some news and we got some Steve Orleman stuff that we got to talk about as well, but we got to get into this game first. Tony, I put it in the title, AWOL offense plus the Ottawa Ref Bears equals a Bandits L. And we'll get into everything. It shouldn't have come down to the referees. But, I mean, we have a real problem and with both things right now, with the offense that the Bandits have and the officiating continues to be a complete joke in this league. But, Tony, I want to start with this offense here. It looked promising out in the beginning, taking what looked like an early 2-0 lead on the game, and you thought that they were just that was one of our keys to a Bandits victory, was to get off to fast starts and have them play catch up the rest of the way. And I thought they did that extremely well. But after that, you really weren't seeing a lot of those goal-scoring opportunities. Nobody, and I mean nobody, could catch a pass to save their lives. Ryan Benesh had 4 points on the night, 4 assists. Every single pass that was thrown to him, he dropped. And that's completely unacceptable. But that is just one of the many things about this offense that needs to be cleaned up. Byrne couldn't catch a pass. Ian McKay, Clay Scanlon, nobody could catch a pass. And then that was all the first half for the Bandits. The third quarter for Ottawa, they couldn't catch a pass. So I don't know if it was the ball that they were using or if something was in the water that they were drinking, but it was sloppy on both sides, especially to start that second half. But that Bandits offense, this is the second straight week where they have scored less than double-digit goals.
Yeah, it's been pretty scary to see how this offense is going to operate from here on in. We're starting to see maybe this is the downfall of the championship run. I mean, I don't want to say that out loud, but sometimes when you look at games like that and if they play like that, yeah, it looks bad. I mean, scoring consistent, 9 goals per game for the last 2, one in Rochester losing 12-9 and now losing at home 10-9. That's not good news for the Buffalo Bandits. They got to wake the heck up. They got to get back into the rhythm where they are and find that style that they've always been playing, no matter what they have to do, defensively, offensively. But again, you can't rely on just your goaltender to win the games for you. Matt Vince can only stand on his head for so long. And between the goalie battles, but I mean, that was the most fun part of the game, is watching both Higgins and Vince go back and forth, just making beautiful saves. But getting back to what you were saying about the offense, Josh Byrne is not himself. Ian McKay is not himself. And we're wondering if it's just going to be, if it's all egotistical reasons, or if it's, it's just me and you guys all just can't do it reasons, but we don't want to pinpoint anything or make assumptions. But something's got to be said. Got to have like a team meeting or some sort of offensive group to go, look, guys, it can't be just based on you guys. We want to take the weight off your shoulders and not have so much pressure. So something's got to give with the boys of the Bandits. But honestly, that's on them. But as fans looking in, start making a choice soon.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that the offense was going to go with a little bit of a drop off with the departures of Chase Fraser and Chris Kluche. I didn't think it was going to be like I didn't think it was going to be like this. I mean, this is a dramatic drop off, and the thing that's scary about the Bandits is that they could prove that they can still, despite losing these guys, they can score 15, 13 goals in a game. They scored 13 in Calgary. They scored 15 in their home opener. They also scored 15 against Las Vegas. You can score a crap ton of goals. And this offense, without Chris Kluche, without Chase Fraser, has proven that.
Yeah.
You go to Rochester. Can you say that maybe we were goalied by Ryan Hartley? Some may say that. I certainly won't. I thought those shots in Rochester were absolutely pitiful and trash. I didn't think Zach Higgins, outside of maybe the third quarter or the start of the fourth quarter, had a tremendously great game either. The offense just was taking bad shots, getting back into old habits, getting back into milking the shot clock down to under 5 seconds and taking a stupid desperation shot. And this is what we've been seeing for a while. And so I don't want to talk about the Chris Kluche and Chase Fraser departures because there have been games where they've scored 13. And yes, it was against Calgary, the team that lost 19-9 to Georgia this past weekend. Sure, it was against those guys, but they also put up 15 on the Georgia Swarm at home in their home opener. They scored 15 on the Las Vegas Desert Dogs, who were projected to have one of the strongest offenses in the league and still came out with a win in that game. But it's the Halifax games, it's the Rochester games, and it's the Ottawa games where I'm just like, what are we doing here? And this isn't just like the outlier game. No, you've had 3 really, really crappy games. I'll put that out there. Halifax was not a sight for sore eyes. Neither was the Rochester game. That was the worst game I've seen in quite a long time. Ottawa, you can throw that one up there as well. I mean, the offense is making the same mistakes. They're going AWOL at the worst times, and they decide down 10-7 with 2 minutes to go. Okay, rally time right now. Where was that in the beginning of the fourth quarter or towards the back end of the third quarter? Where was that style of offense where, oh, wow, we are running out of time here. Let's pot in a few. And they almost tied it up at the very end. I think that pass going to Dane Smith, something ricocheted off the pipe. There was a shot off of somebody's stick. I think it was Dane Smith. They almost tied it at 10, but it should never get down to that point. And we're talking about the offense, and we have the stats here right in front of me. I mean, you look at this, there are some positives here. Believe it or not, there are some positives here about the Bandits. Tehoka Nanticoke, he has scored in every single game this season. We couldn't say that last year. There were a lot of nights last year where Nanticoke just wouldn't show up on the point sheet, wouldn't show up on the score sheet whatsoever. He scored 2. We love seeing that. We love seeing Dane Smith get back to his usual self, too. A hat trick plus 4 assists, tally up 7 points for him. That was great. Kyle Buchanan consistently putting up 4 to 7 points a game. And that's perfect for his age as well. But you're looking at Ian McKay, 1 goal, 1 assist from the guy who was absolutely tearing the cover off the ball last year. We're not used to those numbers. Ryan Benesh, while he did have 4 assists, didn't have any goals. And this was one of the very few nights where he wasn't hitting 700 posts and he wasn't getting snake bitten by the goalpost. The numbers that stick out to me, Clay Scanlon, no goals, 1 assist, a guy who was coming off of a couple very, very good games, maybe 3 straight back-to-back games before the Rochester one, where he was really looking good. He went back down to earth. And Josh Byrne. And I know you said we don't want to assume anything, but hey, Tony, we are podcasters. We love talking about the Bandits, and we love speculating things. 1 goal, 1 assist from Josh Byrne. And again, it was another late fourth quarter goal from Josh. We're not seeing the early one, maybe the first quarter, breaking the goose egg off the board, scoring super early from Josh Byrne that we're used to seeing, or getting a sweet goal right before halftime to extend the Bandits lead or anything like that. No, we've seen back-to-back games. He's essentially scoring in garbage time where it really doesn't matter. And going back into the whole assumption thing, Tony, I want to say this. I went out to Cobblestone after the bar, and it's amazing, the site at Cobblestone after a Bandits loss. I was able to walk around that building freely without accidentally spilling my drink on someone. So I will say that after a loss, it's pretty wide open. You get to talk to whoever you want to talk to. A lot of the players made it out. I saw Dane Smith was there. Zach Belcher was there. Ryan Benesh was there. We didn't see Josh Byrne, and we haven't seen him on the score sheet either. So my assumption here, my speculation here, my question to you and to everyone at Bandits Mafia would be, is Josh Byrne injured? I don't think that is a crazy, wild thought. I think Josh Byrne is injured. I don't know what it is. He got absolutely throttled in Rochester up high twice, I believe, in the first quarter, because it happened right in front of me. He got nailed pretty hard, both in the same quarter, and he wasn't the same since. He comes out in this game, in the game against Ottawa, every shot he takes, he's missing the net. And I'm like, this is not the Josh Byrne that we're used to seeing. He couldn't catch a pass. He was airmailing every single pass. Josh, you're a fantastic player. You're a phenomenal player. If you are injured, sit out. We gotta have an offense that's fully functional. Lucas Nielsen can play. We know that other players can get called up and play. Ian McKay can take a full-time forward role for a game that maybe Josh Byrne would miss. And maybe it wouldn't seem like, the players missed a beat at all. But Josh, if you are hurt, we got to know. We have to know if Josh Byrne is hurt. That's the number one question I have. Number two, I don't know what is going on with this offense, Tony. And it's not just Josh. I don't want to make this the Josh Byrne roast show at all. But, no. I mean, we're not seeing any goals from Ryan Benesh. We're not seeing any goals from Clay Scanlon. We see one goal from Ian McKay and two from Tehoka. And like I said in the beginning of the show, back-to-back weeks without scoring double-digit goals. And you expected your offense to take a little bit of a dip once Fraser and Kluche left. We didn't think it was going to be this dramatic, at least in the first third of the season.
All right, to answer both questions, I'm going to start with the Josh Byrne one about how a person could be playing or his thought process could be. If he's fine and he decides he wants to play, maybe because after that hit or a couple hits that he took in Rochester and he is under concussion protocol, and then maybe his injuries or whatever his mindset could be, being off the game or not being himself, it could be part of that. It could be the physicality part or the mentality part. And the other part is that, am I going to get back to my roots? Am I going to be able to get back to the ways of scoring goals? And you know what? You got a good team and good group in front of you. And yes, I do understand Chris Kluche, one of your positive third members on the one line that you can always rely on. And Chase Fraser also being a part of that as well, missing in action, especially being traded away to Las Vegas Desert Dogs for the whatever cap reasons. But besides the point, Josh needs to, maybe that was a good way of him to step out of the spotlight for a little bit, not even to go to the bar, to hang out with his friends. Maybe he just needed some time for himself to, hey, we understand. We've been through that before. People have took themselves out of the picture and says, I need just to be by myself and get it through, fight the battles that I need to fight the battles. And, that's fine. Take the time you need, Josh, because not only you have a bye week coming up, obviously you're going to be seeing the guys at practice, but whatever. But if it has to be where you need to be by yourself or be with your wife, fine. Go take care of business at home. Make sure, that's your personal matter. That's fine. But find a way back. Trust your teammates to help you through this, because they're the only way you're going to be able to get back into the game by even contributing points in the assist point or finding your goal pattern again. But take a deep breath, get back to basics. Let's claw our way back up to the top. On your second notion, what was the second question again? I'm sorry.
I asked if he was hurt. If Josh was hurt.
If he is, it would have to be concussion protocol. I think because of the fact that if your mindset is not there, if you can't see the net or there's something going on with your vision,
body injury or something,
yeah. Maybe, but if your body is telling you need to rest, then rest, because there are other guys that can fill in for now until you get 100% healthy and then get back at it again. But don't risk having a career-ending injury just because of a minor thing that could end up being really bad, and all the fans are going to go, what the hell just happened? So, Josh Byrne, this is my message to you, and this is get healthy, whatever it is, physicality-wise, mentally-wise, find your ways back, and believe me, everyone's going to be here with open arms welcoming you back. But we got to have the old Josh Byrne, the one that can score at will, average 8 to 12 points per game. And I'm not saying that about Dane, but Dane can still lead, hold on to the reins and still lead the charge. Believe me. But for that, find your path back, man. That's all I can say. Find your way back.
Right. And, kind of like what I previously mentioned, it's not just Josh. You're getting Clay Scanlon.
It's everybody.
Clay Scanlon's not playing on a consistent basis. Ryan Benesh isn't scoring as much as he used to. And I mean, it's a whole offensive issue, maybe outside of a couple players. Dane and Kyle Buchanan, they're your 1-2 punch as of right now, and you're in the first 6 games of the season, the first third of the year. What I also wanted to get into was, I mean, it was some of the plays on defense as well. I thought for the most part the defense played as well as they could, but one of our keys was shut down Jeff Teat. He scored half of their freaking goals. I mean, he scored 5 goals, tallied 7 points,
He's got a killer shot.
Completely torched the Bandits. And if there was one guy that you needed to circle, it was him. And it looked like they didn't plan for Jeff Teat. And that is so wrong, so wrong. And one of the goals that he scored, I almost got up and freaking threw something. The one where he's just walking into the top of the slot, and Paul Dawson, of all players, Paul Dawson, who's normally, let me get in your face, let me level you, let me knock the ball out as quickly as I can, he's backing up. And when he's backing up, he's giving Jeff Teat this entire shooting lane. And not only is he backing up and giving him the shooting lane, he's screening Matt Vince. And Vince can't even see the shot. So I got to go back and look at the score sheet here. That ended up being the game-winning goal. Game-winning goal. Lets him walk right in, screens the goalie, goes top shelf. Ottawa takes a 10-7 lead that ends up being the game winner. You cannot have that. And Cam Wires, I thought, had a bounce-back game. Wasn't thrilled, wasn't excited about the performance from Paul Dawson, but Mike McCannell made some decent plays on defense as well. It was his first game. He had to be nervous as hell playing in front of 18,000 plus in Banditland, but scooped up a bunch of loose balls, him and Kyle Matisse. The defense outside of a couple plays, I thought were B+. The one thing that you needed to do, I think holding Matt Vince being, 42, 43 years old, if you hold another team in Banditland to 10 goals only, I would have told you that the Bandits are probably winning that game. The offense plus the inconsistent defense plus not planning for Jeff Teat, that's going to add into a loss. And I wasn't thrilled from Paul Dawson. I'll say that. That was one of his not my favorite performance from this past. How long has he been here? Third calendar year. This has been the one game where I'm like, yeah, he didn't have a great night at all.
Yeah, I mean the defense again. Keeping the opponents, like you said, to only 10 and under goals is pretty still impressive. But when you can see how the defense is breaking down, and then God forbid, one player at a time is starting to lose a step or two. Dawson didn't have one of his best games out there. I can agree with you on that, because usually he is one of those stay-at-home defensemen. But again, they kind of what they did was move Priolo around. So the more you move old men around with the legs that they have, it's like, okay, well, you're going to open up space to get those goals. But again, this is another setback that either Paul Dawson has to find out his rhythm again. But defensively, I think as McCannell came in for his first game, he played pretty decent. I'm not saying he played spectacular, but he played pretty decent. There was a mistake here and there where he allowed the guy to walk right in and score a goal. But other than that, the loose ball count, very good. Playing smartly positional wise, also very good, but and I'm not saying these guys should not be there to be defensively, but losing Mitch Desnew, and that's
sucks.
A huge difference in our defense now.
Losing Zach Belter on top of that,
and Belts as well. No, because after that's scraffle with Chase Fraser those couple weeks ago, but other than that, they've got to rely on each other. They got to just not basically, like I said last year, is that whoever is the one that gets hurt, that's another person's shoes to fill. So they have to be the ones to take control and take charge. If not, we're going to look at a downfall, but hopefully not soon enough.
Yep. The Bandits right now, they're giving the national media people ammunition to say that the dream of a four-peat is dead, whatever. We're only a third of the way through the season. They're 3-3. They're in 8th in the overall
12 games remaining, boys and girls. It's too young. It's too early to predict that yet.
They got 12 games to go. And if you watch their post-game press conferences, look at what Dane Smith and Johnny T are saying. They're not worried. So if they're not worried, why should the fans be? It's just when you watch these games live and you dissect each and every play, what could have happened, what couldn't have happened, the Bandits should have won this game. I mean, it may not have been the prettiest thing ever, but this was a game that the Bandits really should have won. And now let me just get into the absolute crap fest that is the Zebras on the floor. The National Lacrosse League, people have been asking, why is this not like a mainstream sport? Why is this kind of still underground? The salaries from each player is probably the number one answer that I'll probably give somebody. They don't make, a lot of the players don't make full-time jobs out of these things. The other one I think is if you just turn on a regular game, if maybe you're a first-time watcher of this sport, you look at what these referees are calling, and some of it is just so egregious. Tony, the stat that I heard at the end of the game Friday night, the Buffalo Bandits haven't had a power play at home since December 13th against the Halifax freaking Thunderbirds.
That's sad.
How? I could give you 5 different incidents that happened in this Ottawa game alone that could have had the Bandits on a 2-minute power play. In the second half, Ian McKay, behind every single play, was either getting butt-ended or slashed behind the play, getting knocked down without the ball, no call. They called the funniest thing about this was the fourth quarter. The referees called a delayed penalty on Ottawa because the player was standing in the crease they did the bandit rule. And if you guys don't know what the bandit rule is, you cannot defend with any of your defensemen standing in the crease. The referees made the call in that fourth quarter. One of them had their arm up behind the net. I saw it. And we were all doing our little Bronx cheer in our section because we thought there was actually going to be a freaking penalty called on Ottawa.
Yeah.
They made the call on the floor, discussed it for like 2 minutes, and then told the crowd that there's no penalty being called because the player was in the crease. Listen up here, morons. It's literally in the rules. It's a Bandits rule. That's what Michael Carvallis calls it. He calls it the Bandit rule. Remember when he accused the Bandits of cheating in 2022 because the Bandits players were standing in the crease? Nobody figured it out, so the NLL stepped in and said, well, if nobody can figure this out, we have to ban it. It's like the tush push in the NFL. And when I hear the referee say it's not delay a game because the player was standing in the crease, that is a penalty. That's literally a penalty. You just said this is not delay a game because another penalty occurred, so nobody's taking a penalty. How does that make any sense? Ryan Benesh gets knocked down without the ball, by the way. Benesh gets a 2-minute roughing penalty. He gets a 2-minute roughing penalty. Nick Weiss in the fourth quarter. Ottawa player scoops it up. He takes a close hand cross checks, which are legal, by the way. If in case you guys don't watch field or box lacrosse, if you have 2 of your hands on a stick, close your hands like this and push somebody. I don't give a shit if it's on the guy's shoulder or if it's on his chest. It's a legal hit. Also, can we talk about? Yeah, well, they called that an illegal cross check, not even a check from behind. They called it an illegal cross check, which led to an Ottawa goal. Can we talk about the diver who should win an Oscar in number 51, Jeff Teed on the other side, drawing how many penalties? That dude couldn't stay on his feet, and not one embellishment penalty was called. So these referees are a joke. I was telling my dad, who I went to the game with in our seats, that I don't recognize this referee crew, and I don't think that's a good thing. They don't do many games. These guys probably suck, and they do. Dumbfounded. Couldn't get a power play against Las Vegas. Couldn't get a power play against Ottawa. These guys are morons. But I will say this, just in case anyone comments, oh, Trev and Tony are blaming the referees. Listen, we shouldn't have been in that position anyway. We went on an 18-minute tirade about how bad the offense was for the past 2 weeks. So don't give us that crap about, oh, these guys are blaming the refs. I'm just calling it the way it is. It would have been nice, is what I'm trying to say, to have one fucking power play in our last 2 home games. It's ridiculous. And you are giving the fans, you're giving the Bandit fans ammo here, including us, saying that there's a conspiracy going on. We have to try to dethrone the 3-time champs. Let's send in the refs to throw games for the other teams. That theory is looking like you have a point when you say things like that. When you say that the games are rigged, or when you say these guys have no clue what they're doing, because they don't have any clue what they're doing. They're stupid. Yeah. The Nick Weiss, what was it? The roughing penalties between Nick Weiss and whoever the hell it was. Yeah. I'm looking right now on the penalty sheet here. Nick Weiss and if this website wasn't so bad, maybe I find it. Is it Marinier?
Yeah, Mariner.
They took 2 coincidental roughing penalties. Do you know why they were rumbling on the floor? It was because an Ottawa player completely ran into Matt Vince. No, was there a goaltender interference call on the floor being made? Absolutely not. Why would there be? If a Bandits player did that to Zach Higgins, they get 5-minute major in a game misconduct. Because why? Because it's the freaking Bandits. Tony, I got to ask you. I don't want to blame the referees here for anything. The Bandits should have beaten this team. The Ottawa Black Bears suck. Okay, there's a reason why. There's a reason why they started off the season 0-2 and they're getting blown out in those first 2 games that they played. They're not a very good team, and I don't really see them going deep and far into the playoffs. They have a lot of flaws on that team. I'm blaming the offense for the reason why they lost this game. But when you throw on top of that, we can't get one power play over the past 2 home games. What are your thoughts on the officiating against the Bandits, number 1, and just the officiating throughout the league as a whole?
Well, as number 1, as you may say, you got to just kind of like play through it. You can't let it always falter of any kind of type of game that you got to play against. This could have been a playoff game, and this would have been like wow, this kind of like sucked to lose this one because of the fact that it was down to where the referees had to take control. And that's the thing. When you're allowed to play and they allow you to play, that's fine. But they do see things that we may not, and that's something that, okay, well, if it happens again, we got to make a call, we got to make a stand. But the stats didn't lie, especially with the fact that we didn't have a power play at all this game, and they were 2 for 4 on their end. The only thing I don't understand is that you want to protect all players. It's both Buffalo's team and Ottawa's team, or whoever we play against, or whoever they play against. It doesn't matter. Your job is to make sure that everyone walks away from this. So with that being said, the referee should be fair but firm, but keep it, down the middle. It should be a 50-50 call. But if you see something that's not right to you, make that call. It might not be the right thing. It might not be the right choice. But in realistics, you're actually doing your job. But other than that, especially with the way let's go to the Matt Vince where Mariner ran into him. One of our guys did push him into him, but Mariner could have done the right thing and try to avoid Vince. Yeah, that I'll agree. That I'll definitely agree with. But the fact is that he continued to go into Vince like that, had every right for Nick Weiss to go and jump him. But the fact also is that if with the way they called that, it should have been maybe 2 for Weiss, but 4 for Mariner. 2 because of the roughing with him and Weiss, but also 2 for goaltender interference.
I'll agree with you on that. He made
zero effort to get out of the way. And that's the reason why I'm wondering, okay, I'll agree with your penalty calls, but if you're going to give Weiss roughing and him roughing, but he didn't make any intent to get out of the way of Matt Vince. Like you said, if we would have done that to Higgins, it's all penalty minutes towards us and none towards them for the potential push in. But the fact is, it's like, if you're not going to call it, that's stupid. But if you are going to call it fair. That's it.
And I guess I'm going to correct my statement here. I guess they went back and fixed it. The Nick Weiss penalty might actually be legit in the 4th quarter. They corrected it to checking from behind. They said illegal cross check on the initial call on the floor, which was ridiculous. So they must have
made everybody go, what?
Yeah, they must have gone back.
But it was checking from behind.
But yeah, I guess I can kind of get behind that, whatever. But Jeff Teat, stay on your feet, you freaking diva. I'm also going to say this. Like, you're going to call Ryan Benesh on a roughing penalty, and I always go back to this one. As he's falling towards the ground, if you call that in the 2nd quarter or whenever it was, you need to call it all the time. Where was the roughing penalty when Ian McKay gets roughed up or held up against the boards in the 3rd quarter down by my end, where he's just getting held up against the glass without the ball? That's not roughing. That's not holding. But Ryan Benesh getting knocked down without the ball, which is interference, by the way. And
that is correct.
I don't know. It's absolutely ridiculous. But if the offense was better, maybe we can just have a mini little rant about the referees. And if we won this game, maybe we'd have a little mini rant. But
yeah,
Tony, I feel proud of us. This is our first episode of the season. We're a third of the way through, and this is our first time where we really went off on these clowns. And
yeah,
we pretty much gave them our congratulations in the first few weeks because they were swallowing the whistle, letting the boys play. Whatever this crew did, they were calling everything. Not only was it inconsistent, but it was all on Buffalo. It was all on Buffalo. There was a play in the third quarter where Ian McKay got held up against the glass, a play where Ian McKay looked like he got speared behind the play. Nobody saw that. Matt Vince gets run into. Ryan Benesh gets checked without the ball. Like, that's 8 minutes in penalties right there, at least, that I just mentioned in 5 seconds. And none of those got called. Go back and watch. You don't believe me? Go back and watch it. But this is just us letting our frustrations out about the referees. It's not the reason why they didn't win the game by any stretch, but I'm just saying, it would have been nice to have a fucking power play. Would have been so sweet to have a chance at the man up. And who knows, if we get one power play, maybe this game is tied 10-10 and we go to overtime. Maybe Josh Byrne cashes in on a power play goal. Maybe Dane Smith gets another goal. Maybe Ian McKay or Clay Scanlon. And this is a much more competitive game. But that was the first time ever, Tony, where I saw a delayed penalty actively being called on the floor for delay of game on Ottawa, and they called it back. They essentially picked up the flag in NFL terms. You can't do that in hockey. Once the referee's arm goes up, he has to be committed to that call, whether he whether he made a mistake or not. I guess you can do that in the NLL, but these guys should be fined. These guys should be investigated. That's such bullshit. And you know what? Whatever. The amount of times where Travis Longboat or Jeff Teat overly embellished hits that were being made to them, and the fact that because I sit in 106, I'm essentially behind the Ottawa bench. Half the game, the Ottawa coach is sticking his arms out, yelling at the referee, and I'm like, "What are you yelling about, buddy? You're getting all the calls." You know,
that's right.
It's whatever. The Ottawa Ref Bears and the AWOL offense equals a Bandits L, and they got to figure this out. Did the referees cause Jeff Teat to score 5 goals? Absolutely not. That's why the Bandits lost this game. Did the referees cause the Bandits to score 9 goals? Absolutely not. That's why the Bandits lost the game. But I felt like Tony and I on this show, we had to give out our frustrations because holy shit, do those guys suck.
That's what they do, buddy. And the way how the Bandits have got to be starting to think of themselves, they got to be like, guys, we gotta pick it up. We can't be just lazy out there. We gotta play consistent. And they weren't playing consistent, even though the score sheet said 2 goals, then 3 goals and 2 goals. I don't know, but again, you guys got to pick it up. This is not the Buffalo Bandits we know.
No.
And we need you guys to get back on the train and get back on the tracks. So let's go. It starts next week after the break, and that's another break we don't need. I wish we would stay consistent and just keep on playing through, but we're not. We're back to another week off, and hopefully that'll be good news to those that are hurt, that they can come back and show up for the next game, but which will be in Colorado, by the way.
Yeah, and that'll be a tough task at hand because I think Colorado has a very, very good defense, probably top 3 in the league. Dylan Ward is playing lights out, playing out of his mind over the past couple games. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm not thrilled with the way the Bandits have played through their first 6 games of the year. But I kind of mentioned it before. Dane Smith, John Gertler, those guys, John Tavares, they're not worried about the Bandits going in. So if they're not worried, why should we? It's just kind of frustrating, to say the very least, considering the fact that, last year we were blessed with a 7-0 start. I mean, that was absolutely unheard of. 7-0 to start the year. And, I mean, did they hit a little bit of a rough patch in the middle of the season and towards the back end? Maybe. They finished off the season 13-5 after starting off 7-0. Still won the championship. this has some 2024 undertones to it, Tony, where they're losing games that they should be winning, and the offense is just it's picking and choosing when it wants to show up. The offense has, in the games that they have won, they scored 15, 15, and 13.
That's
in
correct.
The games that they've lost, they've scored
8, 9, and 9.
8, 9, and 9. What? So what's the obvious thing that we need to talk about with this offense is 10 seems like the magic number. It really does. If you score double-digit goals, chances are you're going to win the game. That's what the analytics are showing you right now through the first 6 games of the year. 15, right. 15, 13. Win, win, win. 8, 9, 9. Loss, loss, loss. So
that's right.
What does that look like to you? If there are guys that are hurt, and I know Tony and I have said this a long time, and it's kind of ironic that we're saying this, the bye weeks and how we were sick of them. Hey, if there are some injured players right now, we kind of need this bye week through the first 6 weeks of the season. You're going up against a tough customer on the road in Denver, Colorado. And no, I'm not talking about the Bills and Broncos, where the referees also sucked in that game. In case you guys didn't.
God.
We're talking about the Bandits here. And, we got to get a Buffalo team beating a Denver team on January 31st. And maybe this bye week is sort of a blessing in disguise. While other teams are playing and tiring themselves out, the Bandits get to rest and recuperate, kind of get back into the swing of things. I know Dane Smith mentioned in his postgame press conference that due to the snowstorm that we were having over the past week, they didn't get a chance to practice at all during the week. Maybe that could have had any effect on something, but we're not making excuses here. When you score 9 goals against Ottawa at home, you're not going to win. I mean, that's pathetic. This is but this team, this is the old New York Riptide. Statistically in this building, they play their best lacrosse. That's just what it is. And if things are different when we play in Ottawa or when we play in Long Island, but this team, the old Riptide, the current Black Bears, I can think of like a Saturday afternoon game where they blew the doors off of us. There was a game a couple years ago where they beat us, where Jeff Teat went off. And, I mean, the last time I think the Bandits beat that franchise at home, I think it came to a Josh Byrne overtime goal on Tucker out night. So they play their best lacrosse in this building, and it always feels like a trap game with those guys.
Bear trap.
It's what bear trap, literally. And it's just one of these games where you gotta flush it and you have to move on. 3-3 your first 6 games of the year. You got 12 more of these things. You have to flush it. You got to go on a bit of a win streak here now. Separate yourselves from some of these other teams in the standings. But outside of maybe Saskatchewan, maybe Rochester, I don't see a really, really strong threat in this league. So the standings are going to be wide open. The Bandits, if they go on maybe a 3 or 4 game win streak here, they can climb right back into the top 3 of the standings, no problem. Rochester, in case you didn't see it, lost to Toronto this past week.
11-10.
Not characteristic of them. And we know the history of the Rochester Nighthawks. If they lose one bad game, sometimes that derails their entire season. And they go on these massive losing streaks where they're never the same. Will this happen to the current Rochester team? I don't know. But Toronto doesn't look great. Ottawa doesn't look great. Buffalo doesn't look great right now. Colorado defensively looks all right. Goaltending, they look great. Offense really isn't all there. Las Vegas has no goaltending, no defense. So outside of Saskatchewan, there's really no real threat in the NLL this year. And
it's all open.
If the Bandits go on a little bit of a run here, they can climb right back into the top 3 standings and be that threat again. Prove that you are the back-to-back-to-back champions, undisputed 7-time champs. Go out there and show the world what you're made of.
Yep. Take one game at a time and find your rhythm again and get back into basics and to just rely on each other. Just don't be worried about it's got to be Dane, it's got to be Josh that leads the way. No, work as a team, one unit, not individual wise. You go in there, you play, you do your part, and that's it. You move on. But if you guys can't do that, you guys are going to go on a downfall, and you guys are going to be at the bottom looking up going, well, it was fun while it lasted, unless you guys change that. So do so. And it starts in Colorado, where we make a stand at the Ball Arena.
Right. And I do want to say, Mike McCannell, welcome to Banditland.
Yes.
Pretty solid first game. off of the trade with Philadelphia. There's also another trade that we have to mention. This happened today. We are recording this as of Monday. Steve Orleman, backup goalie for the Bandits, traded to the Toronto Rock for a third-round.
We'll miss you, bud, but good luck in Toronto.
Toronto's having some injury problems on the goaltending front, and they were desperate. They reached out to the Bandits, offered a third-round pick, and that was all it took. I guess Nick Rose tweaked something in Rochester, and he might not be available for a while. So blood in the water, number one for Toronto. Losing Nick Rose sucks, and not having a real available backup until the beginning of this week is not ideal either. But Steve, dude, we're going to miss the mustache on the bench, number one. And, I mean, hey, didn't see a lot of playing time, but he's still back-to-back-to-back champ, whether you like it or not. So, Steve Orleman, huge part of the Bandits. We're going to miss seeing him out there at Cobblestone. He used to come out every single week. Always a great guy to talk to. So we are going to miss him, but that brings up the question here.
Who is our next backup?
Is it Shognosh? Is it Waukegan?
Or is it Konstopoulos?
Who's
going to be the next one up?
Who is going to be the backup that's going to dress behind Matt Vince? I think if you're smart, I think you go with your first-round rookie from this year, the guy who's younger, the guy who was tearing up some of the junior box leagues beforehand. I go with Waukegan. I mean, I really would. But that's not taking anything from Konstantinopoulos at all. But I think this guy's just more ready. And in some of the junior leagues that he has played, there's a reason why the Bandits took him in the first round. They have a lot of faith in him. But he was setting records in that league with saves and save percentage. So if he wants to be the next protege to Matt Vince, I'd say dress him in these games, have him sit the bench and watch him in real game action. Just see what happens.
Yeah, with Anthony Cosmo as the goaltending coach, and you have the greatest goaltender of all time right there, taking notes down. This is a big step of Shoganoff does get the call and be the next backup. But again, he might even be the next goaltender for the next year if possibly Matt Vince retires. But again, we don't know until we find out, until the front office themselves say who's the next one up to replace Orleman. So we'll have to wait and see.
So we'll see that. Steve Orleman has been traded to big bad Toronto, which sucks to see such a good guy go to such a fill in the blank organization. I don't want to make this the Toronto Rock Rose show here, but we got to get into our player of the game.
Positives too.
Yeah, I mean,
if there's any.
Losing to Ottawa, I think we named all the positives that we could. Tehokan Anakoks going back to his goal scoring ways. Connor Farrell, though, hey, more than 50% of the faceoff dot for 3 straight weeks.
Against one of the best in the game. Good job.
Yeah, I mean that's
good job, Connor.
Great for him. Sucks we couldn't do a lot off of those possessions. It's an offensive issue that Johnny T has to figure out.
Yep.
Defense. The defense, while missing Zach Belter and Mitch Desnew, for the most part,
decent.
Still played well enough to win the game. In my honest opinion, I thought they still played well. And Matt Vince, he made I think 37 saves. 37 saves and only let up 10. That's good enough to win the game. I don't care what anybody really says. So Matt Vince had a better night than he did in Rochester, but losing to Ottawa and dropping to 3-3 when you could have climbed back into the top 4 with a victory. That sucks when you have that at hand. But despite the fact, and we're going to get into our Banditland Boulevard player of the game, how many times this guy was diving to try to sell calls. He still also scored 5 goals. And he plays for the Ottawa Black Bears. You have to choose the captain, number 51, Jeff Teat. The number 1 player to circle. The Bandits just flat out didn't do it. He scored half of their goals and got the first star of the game.
Yeah, again, one of the most dangerous point leaders in the game, Jeff Teat. No matter who he plays for, either, like you said, the Riptide or for Ottawa now, he just has a gift to scoring goals. And it doesn't matter if you got a shadow on him or you give him the space, he finds the way to score goals. And that's a big reason why that the Ottawa Black Bears snuck away with this win on this past Saturday. But you know what? Now that you know for future considerations, you have to literally have to double team that man. to not allow him to score any more goals like that. Because other than that, you basically took away their game. And we would have won 9-4, or was it? No, 9-5. Sorry about that. That was the score. It would have been 9-5. You would have won that game.
Yep. And I said this on a previous recap of a Riptide game. I think it was the last time we lost to them at home. Why don't we double team Jeff Teat and leave the guy on the restraining line wide open? Take a shot from far out. Get one of our guys to block a shot. Give you that probably gives you the best chance at winning. I think if you double team Jeff Teat and leave the restraining line guy open, I guarantee you the defensemen that we have, despite Mitch Desnew and Zach Belcher being out, they can still block a lot of shots. Matt Vince will make a lot of big saves. And Jeff Teat won't score 5 goals if he's got 2 guys on him. I know he's great. I know he's one of the best pure goal scorers in the league, but he's not AI. He's not a robot.
No.
I don't think he's going to score 5 goals when he's constantly pressured by 2 guys on him the entire time. So that's where kind of things went wrong. But the offense needs to figure it out. That's number one. The offense needs to figure it out. And whoever that crew chief and whoever that referee was, never step foot in the KeyBank Center ever again. You guys absolutely suck. Get the hell out with that. But 10-9, final to the Ottawa Black Bears. Bandits are 3-3 through the first third of the year. We got 12 of these games to go. Go out and prove. Go out and prove that you are the back-to-back-to-back champs. And kudos to the guys, especially the offensive guys like Dane Smith, John Tavares, that aren't losing confidence at all in this team. They weren't worried at all. I know there were some questions in the press conference about, like, are you worried that this could be like a trend with the team? And Dane's like, oh, no, it's just, it's stuff that we have to figure out. Nobody's panicking. The Bandits aren't panicked, which I love, but it's something that I'm going to be watching on January 31st in Denver. If you go out and you score 14 goals, I'll be like, hey, the offense is back. Championship's back on. But if you score 8 or 9 again, I'll be like, what's going on here, fellas? So a lot of work to be done over the next couple of weeks. You got a bye week next week. So if JB22 is hurt, that's another week of rehab for him. He can rest. He can do whatever he needs. Take care of the body. That's fine. But God forbid he's not able to play. We got some guys on this depth that can step up for him. No problem. Yep.
And it's got to be either like Lucas Nielsen. Who else could step up for him? Coltrane. If we get a first game Coltrane Tyson review, hopefully that would be a good thing to see.
Ian McCabe playing out the front door.
Ian McCabe getting full-time offense. Yep, absolutely. So let's see what he can do. Give him a chance. Maybe he might have that 5-goal spark again like he did in his MVP career, MVP year last year.
Ryan Benesh can pick up on his goal scoring. Clay Scanlon can pick up on his goal scoring. Like, you got some.
Tehoka can get 3 or more.
Tehoka, he's long overdue for a
Hattie
hat-trick. So I'd love to see that. You got guys that can step up for you. Don't feel like you need to do everything yourself when you're injured. If you are, that is, if you are. I don't know anything if you are or not, but I know there was some questions floating around Bandits Mafia. They're like, what's going on with Josh? One of the theories was he might be missing Chase Fraser. I'm like, he's a professional athlete. He's going to move on. He's going to try to win with the team that he currently has. So I don't believe that at all. Josh Byrne is one of the best lacrosse players. For him to go from 12 points a night to 1 goal, 1 assist, something is going on, and I think something's ailing him. I think, I'm just speculating here. I don't know. I don't have any of the inside sources or whatever, but I think he's got I would say that Josh Byrne is injured in some sort of capacity. He got absolutely destroyed quite a few times, leveled body to body, shoulder to shoulder in that Rochester game, and I think he might be still feeling it because as soon as that happened in that Rochester game, he wasn't the same player.
That's right.
No, but I thought he was absolutely fine in the Las Vegas game though. Like, so I'm just using what I'm seeing. I'm just making an inference for myself. But 10-9 lost to the Black Bears and the refs. 10-9, 3-3 on the year. Tony, time to shout out the sponsors.
Banditland Boulevard is brought to you in part by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, Banditland Boulevard themselves, me, Tony LaMonica, over there, Trevor Hauer, are telling you to go and check out Mitchell's Tavern. They got the greatest beef on wick in town. They have amazing food, fantastic service. They will treat you like family. Also, we'd like to thank Herney's Journeys. If you guys want to book your next big trip or vacation, please contact Suzanne Pike at SuzannePike@Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. And also, and finally, for our last sponsor is Nino's Pizzeria, located at 2 locations, 1737 Orchard Park Road in West Seneca and in 315 Buffalo Street in Hamburg. If you guys want to check out their pizza and wings deals for their subs, their fingers, and everything else, go give them a call. As the way you like it, only in America. And for those watching us live here on YouTube through StreamYard, give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell every time you hear about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. And for those listening in on every device known to man, on your tablet, your phone, or on your radio station on Spotify, give us that 5-star rating that we talk only good things about your boys in the orange and black, your Buffalo Bandits.
That's it. Bandits are 3-3 after a 10-9 loss to Ottawa. What can you do? You can't do anything about it now. Enjoy the bye week. Rest up. Practice hard.
Let's get back at it.
Tony and I will have the preview for that sometime. I don't know. I can't predict the future.
Possibly next week.
Tony and I will have the preview for you right here on the Banditland Boulevard channel, so don't miss that. Whether they're 3-3, whether they're 6-0 or 7-0, like last year to start off the year, or whether they're 0-18, Tony and I end every single show with 3 simple words.
As Chris Swenson always once said, in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits.
Let's go.
Let's get back to the basics, boys. Get back on track. Start one game at a time. You help each other out and get back on that title run. Let's go.
Keep your heads up, fellas. Go on a run here. Go on a run.